Look around you at our modern world of technological innovation and wonders, and guess which person influenced its development more than any other. The person I'm thinking of is the genius behind the technology of electricity, wireless communications, and lasers. His name is atop one of the biggest tech companies in the world. And if his dream for clean energy everywhere had come true, the world around you would be vastly different. No gas stations or utility lines, power beamed to your home, your car, your devices, drastically reduced greenhouse gas emissions, an innovation driven by collaboration where people act for the good of all. This person managed to make some of his fantastic vision for the world a reality, but he left unfinished business that he continues to work on from the other side. Maybe you know who I'm thinking of. Nikola Tesla. He crossed over in 1945, and we spoke with him in 2023 through Sam, our friend, the gifted spirit medium. As a Silicon Valley guy and owner of a tech company, I couldn't wait to interview Mr. Tesla. My wife, Carolyn, the author of Channeled Messages of Hope, happily handed over this tech-heavy interview for me to conduct. So soon, there I was in my office in Northern California, speaking over Zoom with one of the great technological geniuses in history, the person whose innovations and inventions shaped the modern world more than any other, in my opinion. Mr. Tesla's soul spoke with me through Sam, and the information he gave me could be game-changing. And I'm going to share it with you in this, the Channeled Messages of Hope podcast. In a moment, when I play clips from my conversation with Nikola, you'll hear for yourself what a remarkable soul he is. Not only is his genius off the charts, his heart and desire to be of service to humankind shine through for you to hear and connect with. First, let me remind you that you can catch the full conversation in Chapter 3 of Channeled Messages of Hope by Carolyn Thomas, and hear it for yourself in the audiobook available at Amazon and Apple Books. By picking up a copy, you are supporting our mission to bring hope from the other side to a world that badly needs it. So back to my conversation with Nikola. I came into it with a lot of questions about clean energy innovation and all the wonderful things he did to help create the modern world. But at first, his mind was still on the dream he couldn't make come true during his lifetime. He proved that power could be sent wirelessly, and he proved that the Earth generates its own energy that can be turned into electrical current. But his invention of a wireless transmission tower never made it any further than the prototype stage, and he's still wondering why the technology hasn't been developed. He knows how different the world would be if he'd made his dream come true. Part of the problem is the energy industry. Listen to this clip of what he told me.
The electric companies, that industry is a monopolized industry, and it's a very rigid industry. This is not helped with our production of energy and for all to have energy. This has been to the detriment in many ways today with the climate. What I don't understand is why there is breakdown from my invention to bringing that to reality. Maybe you can help me understand. I don't understand why this is not happening.
Nikola, who, by the way, prefers to be called Nikola and not Nikola, which is what you commonly hear these days, envisioned beaming energy anywhere in the world for the benefit of humanity. But others saw how his innovation could be used as a superweapon, so governments in the US and his home country of Serbia hid his records and papers after he died. Admitting that he was a naive person during his time on Earth, he now sees the reasons for hiding those secrets. And he agrees. And interestingly, many of the materials seized right after his death ended up in the hands of one John G. Trump, an MIT professor known for his expertise with high-voltage generators. You might have heard of his nephew, Donald Trump. Nikola asked me to help him understand why his invention of wirelessly transmitted energy never made it out of the lab. But in the next clip, he answers his own question. It's not just about the energy industry's addiction to fossil fuels. It's about how humanity turns its greatest innovations and discoveries into weapons.
Do I feel that this was something that mankind needs protection from? At this time, with what I have seen, I would say that in many ways I would agree. Something that I thought was very idealistic, very positive, I can see now how that could be a detriment in many ways, because not everyone has the same intention to make it a positive thing for the betterment of humanity. I feel that the earth and the world is an abundance of vibration and frequencies. And I feel that the earth has a layer of energy, an energetic field. These can be condensed. The energy can be condensed, trapped between the earth and its upper atmosphere, and transforms into electrical current. This is a way to provide free renewable energy. I know that this works. This invention works. The problem is that when I died, the US government, they seized a lot of my records, my papers, and they have information they are afraid will get into the wrong hands. And that is truly what is preventing this from taking place. This is not about talent or skill. This is about being controlled. And the reason it is being controlled is because in those papers, in that information, there were ways to use this also as a way to transmit beams, to take warships out, to take weapons of war out. And the government is frightened that this would get into the wrong hands. These papers have information, but I think that people know this already. This is something that people are working on studying as you say, but it is being prevented because of other ways that this technology can be used to end war as we know it, to end in weaponry, in war. This is mostly what they are frightened of, and this is mostly what they have in their possession. Some things I have realized. I have realized I am a naive person, and I have realized some things that were better not to be known at that time. Do I feel that this information will become public? I don't feel that in your lifetime, John. I see people that are working, still trying to work past this. I see this happening, but I'm not certain that this could be manifested.
Think about it. Somewhere in the deepest vaults, where the deepest secrets are kept, are the answers that could both save the world by supplying it with clean energy and make it even more dangerous by putting a superweapon into the wrong hands. And 80 years after Nikola's death, we still haven't progressed enough to be trusted with such power. I think Nikola's plea to help him understand why some of his inventions are kept secret because of how potentially dangerous they are, and why his other big inventions are not used for the betterment of humankind, is more about why humanity hasn't advanced enough to make it possible. Here we are in 2025, still stuck in a 1945 mentality. In some ways, we are actually worse off spiritually. Technological evolution has far outpaced the ethical, moral, and spiritual evolution needed to use Nikola's most powerful inventions responsibly. I hope I said that the way Nikola would. He really wanted us to understand that we have the power to make our world so much better for everyone. Nuclear fusion and other next-generation nuclear energy technology were next on my list of topics to cover with Nikola. He agrees with the opinion of three other souls we interviewed, Albert and Mileva Einstein and George H.W. Bush, that nuclear fusion energy technology is coming. He sees it developing rapidly and thinks it's important for creating a clean energy future. But it's not the only option.
Nuclear energy, it is being studied, it is being worked on by many teams, many laboratories, many people at this time. It is also being studied by our US government. It is something that I feel is very, very positive, very doable. The holdup is all about preventing the saturation of uranium, and that must be addressed. And that is being studied, that is being worked on. I'm advising many people from my place where I am. I am advising many people on this at this time. It is something that we can do and move forward with. It is not very far off. It's a matter of convincing those who are hesitant that this is a new way to look at renewable energy, a new way to look at nuclear power plants, a new way to bring this into fruition, make this invention a reality. I cannot say that I feel that nuclear energy is the only way to achieving what we need to achieve to help reduce emissions and help our planet. I feel that there are some of them are patents that I created. Some are my patents for bladeless wind energy. That is being studied.
Bladeless wind turbine. Nikola got my attention when he said that. A bladeless wind turbine is basically a mast made of material that vibrates in the wind and produces energy that can be harvested as electrical current. It requires that the wind be blowing within a certain speed range to create the resonance, and recent advances are increasing that range and the power output. The masts can be made to stand about 15 feet tall, not the massive offshore rigs in use today. Another approach uses a honeycomb shape and can produce energy at low wind speeds. The Tesla turbine, as it's known, didn't catch on with the power industry because of the engineering challenges, but it did inspire the innovations that are catching on today. Nikola tells us there are all sorts of these innovations coming.
The present and the future, I see them simultaneously. I always am looking to the future and how can we benefit from this. From my place, I see that there is technology that is being invented, worked on using a lot of my information, my patents, and there is a lot of amazing things that are happening. And I will say that there is a lot of people working toward this goal right now. And don't forget that. That is very important. That is your message of hope. There are a lot of people, hundreds, thousands, maybe more people that are working toward this goal. And there are those people who are my heroes, those inventors who are in isolation, working to remain focused and to see their inventions become a reality. And there are laboratory teams that are working toward this goal. There are many things that are happening, that are coming through and will break through very, very soon. There are machines they are working on to capture the air filled with pollutants and clean that air and then release the carbon dioxide that has been cleaned. There is a way to reduce carbon emissions by using a fuel that actually is better, fossil fuel, but it has an additive in it. And it is better for the emissions. They are reduced greatly. There is also a way to use tell automatons to work with food waste, to take out particular pollutants and then put the remaining food waste into the earth. This is very helpful for farmers, agriculture. There are many things that are happening out there. So do not lose hope. I feel there is talent. I feel there is gifts and skill and so many people working toward this goal.
Tell automatons? That was another term I had to check out. Turns out, in 1898, Tesla demonstrated this invention first as a remote-controlled boat, but his vision extended to fully automated machines powered by AI and wireless energy, a vision that's becoming reality in its own way as drones take to the skies and robots are everywhere. But the wonders we are producing, powered by batteries and fuel, are not what Nikola had in mind. And writing just after World War I, he envisioned weapons of war based on his ideas being so lethal that future wars could be averted or fought entirely by machines, with no loss of human life. Then there's Mr. Tesla's vision that reached even further into the future. If you're watching the video with this episode at our YouTube channel, which you can get to by typing in cmoh.show, you'll see a rendition of his proposed flying machine that has no wings, or propellers, or jets, or really any visible means of propulsion. Yet it could fly as fast as an older model passenger jet. In an article Mr. Tesla published in the October 1919 edition of The Electrical Experimenter, after he explains that a vision for a futuristic flying machine came to him as a college student, in that he couldn't figure out the turbine or engine, he says that he solved the problem and spells out his vision for flying machines that don't need control surfaces or propellers or jets. And, quote, "It'll be practicable to project a missile of this kind into the air and drop it almost on the very spot designated, which may be thousands of miles away. Tele-automata will be ultimately produced, capable of acting as if possessed of their own intelligence, and their advent will create a revolution." Unquote. Robots capable of acting as if possessed of their own intelligence will create a revolution. Score another point for Mr. Tesla's ability to see the future. Nikola blew me away with his knowledge, especially about what's happening in the areas of clean energy technology and his vision for where it's headed. His incredible mind sees both the present and the future from where he is. Today's inventors, working toward the same goals he did, and that he continues to do in spirit, may be receiving ideas from him, something he talks at length about in the Channeled Messages of Hope audiobook. He wants to see the vision he dreamed up, his vision of a clean, futuristic world, become a reality. And anyone on that wavelength could be already telepathically connected with him. Known for his highly unusual gifts of the mind while alive with us on Earth, Tesla has leveled up on the other side, and from the sound of it, he is living up to his greater potential. During my awe-inspiring interview with Mr. Tesla, I never asked him what he thinks now of the psychical and spiritual phenomena. Around 25 years before he died, he wrote that he didn't think any of it to be real, after only once in his life experiencing anything that made him think otherwise. That one time was when his mother died and he couldn't be at her bedside, and he had a vision of her being carried away by angels as choral music played, right at the moment of her death. But he talked himself out of believing it to be a psychic experience. So after 80 years of Earth time on the other side, he obviously knows the reality of psychical and spiritual phenomena. But this fact about him was unknown to me in 2023 when we spoke. I wonder what he would say about his ability to see the future and send dreams to people alive on Earth now. In this clip, he talks about how he goes into people's dreams.
I was always very good at going into dreams when I was in a body and daydream and night dream and being able to meet new people and travel new places. I am basically doing the same thing going into other people's dreams and giving them lots of encouragement and giving them sometimes, like a fiction, so help them understand. That's how it all works. You have a picture that comes into your mind and you say, aha, I know what to do now. And that is very much how I work.
I didn't get to ask Nikola about his opinion of psychical and spiritual phenomena now, but I did get to ask him about the company that bears his name, Tesla Incorporated, run by Elon Musk. That company is an innovator of renewable energy technology. Tesla likes what they're doing, but says in this clip that they fall short of his vision.
I am in disagreement with some of the things that they are doing. And what I am in disagreement with is that their emissions are higher than they are disclosing. They are working toward the goal. They are working to bring this renewable energy. I am very hopeful that they will use this for the betterment of humanity and not be immersed in profit. They can do this, and I want them to do this because that is the whole reason to be an inventor, to be working is to focus on how to make things better for the world. And I want them to know that I am hopeful that they will do the right thing.
He also makes clear that he doesn't resonate with Mr. Musk as an inventor because Mr. Musk is not an inventor. But he is working from behind the scenes with members of Mr. Musk's company to help develop the next generation of clean renewable energy technology.
Mr. Musk is an investor. Mr. Musk is not what I would call an inventor. Yes, I work to help the founders of Tesla to rediscover some of my invention, but I do not work personally with Mr. Musk.
Nikola had more to say about Tesla Incorporated, which you have to hear in Channeled Messages of Hope. In answer to my question about the possibility of him incarnating again, Nikola reveals what life was like as an inventor and genius with few peers. He was friends with another soul we interviewed, Samuel Clemens, the author Mark Twain, and spoke fondly of him, but said while he was alive on Earth he had few real relationships. And he has lessons to learn in that regard.
Well, at this time, I do not know when I will incarnate, but I do know that I will. And I also know that I have many more things I need to learn. My life was lonely. I had friends, but not many. I really focused on my work, and my life was very lonely without love, without true love and people in my life. I left my family and went to America and really didn't have time for people in my life. There's more for me to learn about the human relationship. A mom sees in the world what he carries in his heart. I just wanted to make the world better.
Right at the very end there, he says, "A man sees in the world what he carries in his heart." It's a beautiful statement to close out the interview and close out this edition of the Channeled Messages of Hope podcast. Subscribe so you can hear the next episode as soon as it comes out. And join us in spreading these messages of hope from the other side. Join us in making Nikola's dream of a clean, technologically marvelous, and more humanitarian world come true. It begins by opening your heart and connecting When you hear the messages, you're hearing the other side speak. I'm John Thomas. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
I would like to say that without hope we are nothing, and that I embrace, support, and find inspiration in what you are doing,